Good evening, Cyclopses and scientists. Today we're taking a look at Transformer Cybertron Wave Cannon Decepticon Shockwave. Um, of the Warrior class, aka the Deluxe class figures, this is honestly the best one of the first wave. Optimus Prime's function doesn't really work too well, and his whole left arm looks kind of like crap. Starscream's function doesn't really work too well either. And, Bumblebee is decent, but he has a lot of kibble. Meanwhile, Shockwave has a really nice robot mode, a decent alternate mode, and his function actually works. He has a little backpack that flips up to fire a cannon, and while it works better in robot mode, it also works in his vehicle mode, as opposed to the other three deluxe classes that don't work at all in their vehicle. Hey, would you look at that? This is, he's actually pretty nice. I mean, he's not as hollow as the other figures are. I mean, he's got some hollowness in the forearms and the back of the legs, but honestly, considering considering how he transforms, this isn't too bad. And I rather do like the Shockwave design for Cyberverse. Not only is Shockwave a Cyclops, but he's a double Cyclops because his single-eyed head has another mono eye on top of it. I don't know if I can get it in frame here. Fortunately my camera doesn't focus that well. But yeah, he's got his little traditional Shockwave arm cannon. He's got a little fist, and he has his function, which is this cannon on his back. You can see when we flip the cannon up, these little energy bits flip out to fire off the wave cannon, which, hey, shoulder cannons, we don't see that in Transformers too often. At least not recently, but I like it. It's cool. I will say the one downside to my particular figure, which you may have seen, is that my particular figure does not have very, they don't have very stiff hips. I mean, I just have to wiggle them a little bit, especially that left leg. Just to compare him, here are my other Shockwaves. Here is from Generations, Legends Class Shockwave. You can see he's a lot lighter purple. His pink is about the same. I think it's solid instead of being transparent, but a lot lighter purple. Cyber Battalion, the Walmart exclusive line. And you can see the lighter purple they use on like the gun and the hands and the inner panels and the jetpack. Very, very similar to what we have here, but we don't have that darker purple. With Dark of the Moon Shockwave, arguably one of the best figures from the Movieverse line. As you can see, again, a lot darker purple here. Of course, we don't have the pink and the bright silver. We have kind of a gunmetal gray, though. I think this is a very nice looking Shockwave, though. It definitely is. There's no doubt about it this is Shockwave, and I love him. His instructions are also kind of cool, because most of the time we've been having to deal with gray on black instructions with either purple or red transformation stuff. We have yellow and blue here, which is phenomenal. I get this line is directed more towards kids, but I mean, the instructions are phenomenal. I really hope Hasbro continues to use yellow and blue for the rest of this line, because it's great. The blue and the gray they had for the Combiner Force line wasn't too bad, but this is great. There's such great contrast. And then, of course, I haven't shown a deluxe class in this video, so just for comparison, here he is with my favorite deluxe class of all time, Chrome Dome. And you can see he's deluxe class size, definitely deluxe class size, no doubt about that. As to be expected, Shockwave, his alternate mode is he does push-ups. Jokes aside, it's not a very complicated alternate mode. He's essentially doing push-ups and stands his cannon up on his back. The action feature is now relegated to a sliding lever on his back, which, as you can see, when you push it backwards, it pulls the nozzle of the cannon backward to allow the energy blast to flip forward. Unfortunately, even if you tilt it sideways, it doesn't work now. But if you tilt it enough to do it from an angle, the other side doesn't flip up due to how the meshing of the mechanics works. So the double blast only works when the cannon is on his back. The problem with Shockwave is that while you can get some really neat and creative modes with him, he, like Megatron, have always had trouble finding an alternate mode that fits. Megatron over the years has switched between from originally he was a gun, then he became a tank and a jet, and sometimes both a flying tank, and sometimes he was a truck that had a cannon. I mean, he's always been some kind of militaristic vehicle. Shockwave has a similar issue, except unlike Megatron, who was almost always a tank and sometimes a jet, Shockwave doesn't necessarily have a set mode. Primarily, though, he has been tank-like, but not necessarily guaranteed. In Generations, in Combiner Wars, he turns into essentially kind of a flying gun that, of course, can have a flip-out section to be held by a combiner. In Dark of the Moon, he was a very Cybertronian tank. In Transformers Energon, Shock Blast, who was literally just Shockwave, Shock Blast turned into like a Cybertronian tank that was also like part satellite. And then Transformers Animated, he was like a more traditional tractor tank who also could turn into like a crane. It was weird. And then, of course, in Fall of Cybertron, he turned into a similar mode to this. He turned into essentially a flying gun, and the Cyber Battalion figure also essentially turns into a flying gun, though he fits a lot more in the jet category. So I'm glad to see that they're going with another tank with the spider tank form, because honestly, flying guns are kinda cool, but they get old fast. And then just for comparison, here he is with another warrior class figure. This is Alpine Drift from Robots in Disguise. You can see definitely a lot less compact, but I like the color better. He's a very simple transformation. You can transform him in about 30 seconds. I think of the 4 warriors in this wave, he's definitely the one to get. Because he just has a unique take on Shockwave, and honestly, just a really nice color scheme. How often do you see purple Transformers outside of Shockwave and Blitzwing? So, considering you're only paying $15 for this figure of Shockwave, yeah, he's not bad. He's got an action feature, doesn't have any accessories, but overall, not bad.